Welcome to Beers with Brownie. We're an international rugby league YouTube series where we bring on international rugby league legends and tell their stories. So if you're new to the channel, for every 100 subscribers until we reach 1,000 subscribers, we sent 10 balls out to developing international rugby league nations. We've uploaded some of those videos on our YouTube channel so you can see how these balls are getting put to good use and helping to grow the game around the world. So thank you for your support. So for this episode, I'd like to welcome our guest. He's a French rugby league stalwart, he's a former Wynnum Manly coach, and he's the Pacific Tres media manager, Laurent Garnier. So welcome to the show, Laurent.
Bonjour. Thanks, Phil, for having me.
You're welcome. So welcome to the show, Laurent. A very special mention because he's our first ever French rugby league guest, so really looking forward to getting to know more about the French rugby league scene. Okay, again, for those that are new to the channel, every episode we like to support a beer that supports rugby league. So Carlton United Breweries have come on board as the official beverage partner to the NRL. So they have a range of products. So this episode we're going with Asahi. So cheers, Laurent.
Cheers. Santé.
So also, if you're new to the channel, every episode I like to wear a piece of international rugby league merchandise to show my support for rugby league around the world. So today we're going with the Vietnam Rugby League. So Vietnam recently played Macedonia and they've got some other games coming up. So we look forward to seeing them in action again in the future. So all the best to everyone involved with Vietnam Rugby League too. So Laurent, my first question, how did you come to love rugby league?
So don't say that to anyone, but I start by rugby union. I was born in Perpignan. So you got two options, rugby league or rugby union.
Yeah.
So I met a friend who is still my good friend at college, and his father was coaching the under 16 Tres Catalan team at the time.
All right.
So I was a bit bored in union, so I switched, and I never came back. So I fell in love with the game because of the defense. Because I was a very poor player with my heads, but I like defense. I like contact. Yeah.
Getting involved there. Yeah. In Perpignan, is soccer or football, is that as popular as the two rugby codes?
Soccer is all over the territory in France. So every suburb got his team. So soccer, football in Europe, in the world is the main game. But Perpignan, the Catalans, they got a big love for rugby league and rugby union.
Oh, fantastic. So Laurent, as a junior coming through the ranks, which positions did you play growing up?
I never moved from the front seat. So I play when I was young, I played prop. And in the first grade, I'll put it this way. When I play for the Tres Catalan, if the Tres Catalan have money, I play hooker.
Right.
Because they had money to buy big imports, so I play with Aitro Kissini, Jason Laurie, big guys like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And when they were a bit short of money, I was playing their position.
So tell us about which all the clubs you played for in the French domestic competition.
So I start with the Tres Catalan. I went to Toulouse, who's just beside the Perpignan area.
Yeah.
I don't remember now. Oh yes, I played for Bordeaux. In 96, 97, they had a team in Girondins de Bordeaux. That was the same thing that the soccer team.
Right.
So I played in Bordeaux in 97, and I came back after in 98 to play for the Tres Catalan. And after 2 years, something amazing happened. The UTC have been created by Bernard Gouache, who is the chairman of the Catalan Dragons. So the UTC was the first team to actually start to create the Catalan Dragons in 2006. So I played for the Tres Catalan and the UTC.
So Laurent, you were telling me off camera, when you were over at Bordeaux, you were coached by the great Louis Bonnery?
Not in Bordeaux, in the student side.
Oh, on the student side,
in the student side, Louis Bonnery was my coach in the French student side. So I know him very well, and I had the pleasure to work with him with Bain Sports and Rodolphe Pires. So that was easy. When you work with people you like, and that's and I can say friends now. So that's much more easier.
So Laurent, you're after your playing days, you transitioned into coaching. So what made you want to become a coach?
I think it's funny to say that, but I love to play the game. But I think I love even more to coach the game, because when you are a player, you do what the coach is telling you. But when you are a coach, you need to think about all the aspects of rugby league, not just your prop or hooker role. And that's what I really fell in love with, because people outsider, when they see the coach, they think the coach is screaming in the box, and the coach, the talk at the halftime, and that's it. But the job is so amazing, a range of stuff to do and not forget and be good at. So that's where I really like coaching, and you change life. You are in the position you can actually change minds and change life of young people. That's what I love in coaching. Rugby league is just an excuse for me, I think.
So tell us, Laurent, what year did you finish playing, and which clubs did you coach at before you came over to Australia, which we'll talk about shortly as well?
So I finished to play in 2003. In 2004, I did one game because they were short, but I was the assistant coach for the reserve grade of the UTC.
Right.
And in 2005, the Catalan Dragons gave me the calls to coach 2 years in the U21 of the UTC, and 2005, 2006, and after in 2007, I came to live in Australia.
Yeah. So, as a young person, just getting into coaching from the south of France, how did you move to, what made you want to move to Brisbane in 2007? How did that all come about?
So while I was coaching the U20 of the Catalans, I came here in Brisbane with the student time, the student French team for the World Cup, the Student World Cup.
Yeah.
And first night, we met with a friend whose name is Stephen Plath. He played for Villeneuve in France. He's from Brisbane. And we went to the Caxton Hotel. And
the famous Caxton, yeah.
The famous Caxton, and so we will have a good time.
Yeah.
So what's happened is I met a beautiful brunette, and 15 years later, 3 kids and 1 mortgage later, here I am. Living in Brisbane.
And she's a local Brisbane girl?
She's from Newcastle, so she's a Knights girl.
Oh, okay. And have you adopted an NRL team? Are you a Broncos fan, or?
Oh, I've been a Broncos fan forever. I remember I had a jersey in 1992 from the Broncos with the number 10 in the back. So yeah, I don't know why, I always loved the Broncos, because they were the only Queensland team at the time. And I think the Queensland spirit and the Broncos spirit is very similar to the Catalan one.
Sure. Yeah.
You hate Sydney, we hate Paris. That's I blend in very well in this type of mentality.
Fantastic. So 2007, you moved to Brisbane and you decide that you want to continue coaching. So you get involved with the Brisbane Rugby League competition. So tell us about who you coach with in Brisbane.
So when I came in Australia, no way I will stop to coach. So I put my resume on the table of the Wynnum Manly Seagull. The head coach at the time was Shane McNally.
Right.
And he gave me a role in assistant coach with the under-18, the Malmeninga Cup.
Right.
And the coach was Nigel Roy, ex North Sydney Bears.
Sydney Bears winger.
Yeah. And I start from there. The year after, I applied for the under-16, the Cyril O'Connell Cup, and I work with Graham Murray too.
Wow.
I learned a lot with this great man.
Yeah.
And Paul Green came in board, and he gave me the Cyril O'Connell Cup in 2011 or 12. I don't really remember.
Right.
So I stayed with the academy of the Wynnum Manly Seagulls for 6-7 years.
Oh, fantastic. And then you were telling me off camera that you're now involved with the Brisbane Tigers women's team?
Yeah, the women's team for the last 4 years, I'm coaching with Adrian Vals.
Wow.
And I fell in love with the game in the 80s, and I fell in love with the women game a few years ago. I really love coaching women and young girls.
Well, it's definitely a big growth area in rugby league, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah,
You
yeah.
can see more and more women getting involved, and the NRLW is just going from strength to strength.
Yeah.
Did you watch much NRLW?
Yeah, I try. I was in France at the time, but we have a few NRL girls at the Brisbane Tigers. But that's not just the game. When they say hashtag our game,
Yeah.
that's really our game. That's I couldn't imagine one day being a football coach and having to keep a baby in my arm during the training because mom is doing a skill. So that's what's happening, and
Wow.
I think that's humble you, and that's make you think differently. More, and learn. So that's what I like in women rugby league. And you see the other side. That's not easy for a woman to play rugby league. They can do it and very well.
Absolutely.
They are tough. They are very tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, as my point is, that's easier for the male to play football because everyone is agree with that. But for a female to play football, she needs to get through few hurdles, and they are doing it. So I think, I'm very, how do you say, admirative of all these women who playing the game,
Yeah.
because they are very good at having a family, because we are coaching some young girls, but we are coaching some mothers and wife.
Yeah.
And that's not easy, So that's for them, and I really like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. So Laurent, in the introduction, I mentioned that you're the Pacific Tres media manager. So for those that don't know, can you give us a background about what Pacific Tres is about and what you want to achieve?
So basically, Pacific Tres is giving a better future to young Caledonian, young French people who live in the Pacific, in Australia. Try to come to train and play here with the best, learn the game with the best, and see how if they can enjoy it. And if we start like that, maybe one day the French national team will do well in the World Cup. Something didn't happen for a long time now. So that's just. Pacific Tres is about the player, is about the young athletes, to try to give them a better future. As I said to you before, for a new Caledonian who play Union, for example, if he wants a career, he needs to go in France. But living in New Caledonia in the middle of the Pacific and going to play in the cold in winter in France, that's a big change. That's a big cultural change.
Yeah.
Here, they are just 2 hours from Brisbane in the plane.
Yeah.
So that will be a good fit. A team in Australia of French player would be a good fit for them.
So you were saying off camera as well that there's in the French Rugby Union national team there's 2 New Caledonian players.
Yeah.
So it shows there is some really good talent in New Caledonia. So it'd be great if rugby league can tap into that.
Yeah, we've got almost 300,000 people, French people living in the Pacific.
Wow.
And I just looked the number before the what we do here, and 40% of these people are less than 20 years old.
Wow. Okay.
50% are less than 30 years old.
Right.
So that's these 300,000 people are, most of them, young people. So that's where rugby league can take something from that.
Some big opportunity there if we can tap into it. Yeah. Definitely. So Laurent, talking about your coaching career again, you went back to France in 2015 and you were the head coach of Carcassonne. Can you tell us about that season?
So I was living my dream. I had a professional contract in coaching, so that's I learned so much in 2 years over there. I learned so much. When we arrived, I never coach at this level. I always coach in the academy, and we won 10 games in a row.
Wow,
So
that's great.
I thought I was the French Wayne Bennett.
Yeah.
and it turns out that I'm not. You know what I mean? So yeah, a bit of struggle, but we did the grand final. We lost against Toulouse,
Right.
who the year after went in the championship, so turned completely professional.
Yeah.
But I learned so much about the job and managing. I learned so much about me too. You know, how you feel, how you deal with some stuff you like, you don't like, and so that was a great experience. And Carcassonne is a great club. Is a whole club since 1938 in France. You know, and they are in the grand final next Sunday.
Fantastic.
So let's wish them good luck.
So if anyone over in Carcassonne is watching, we wish you all the very best for the grand final. So Laurent, in 2015, like you were saying, Carcassonne made the grand final. It was just a successful season. So tell us, who were the standout players for you that year?
We had a New Caledonian boy. We had Teddy Pello, who came to play for us. We had great ex-NRL player. We had Vinnie Anderson, who is still over there. He's still coaching in second division over there.
Wow.
at the Varl,
Yeah.
Varl 13. And we had Luke Rooney.
Wow.
From the Penrith Panthers. He was
Fantastic.
He just finished his rugby union stint with the Carcassonne team in the second division in France, and I begged him to play for us. He didn't want, but he played one game, and after he injured himself, unfortunately. But that was so good to have him at training. You know,
Yeah.
so professional, and so he helped a lot the young players in the side. You know, so that was very good.
And then the following year, you went to coach at the Palau Broncos. How'd that go?
So the Palau Broncos, Carcassonne is 200 km from Perpignan, where is my hometown and where my family was living. So I decided to go closer to the family. So Palau is just a few kilometers from my home house.
Right.
So that was a bottom team. The year before in 2015, but lot less money and play. So we were the only team, I think, to not have any imports.
Oh wow.
So only French player. I went to grab Hakim Milodi, who was killing himself in Union in Béziers, and with Hakim and a few other players, we had a good season. We did the finals. We did the first round of the finals.
Fantastic.
And that's a great club with few people, but really passionate about the game.
Yeah, that's really good. I see some of their things on social media. It looks like a club that's really positive about the game.
Yeah.
So Laurent, in 2017, you decide to move back to Australia, and since moving back, you've assisted a few French young players to come over and experience rugby league in Australia, which is fantastic. So tell us about which players you've helped come over to Australia to play.
So the first one was Benji Garcia, the captain of the Catalan Dragons. He came in 2010. He was only 18. He left everything behind and to learn the game here in Australia with the Wynnum Manly Seagulls.
Yep.
He played three games. Paul Green put him in 3 games in Q Cup at only 18 years old. And the year after, Paul put him through the U20, the NYC Broncos team.
Yep.
And the Catalan Dragons called him and gave him a contract. So he came back. In Europe in Perpignan, and now he's the captain, and he's doing a really good job as a captain.
Very good player.
Yeah, very good player, and the spirit and what he's doing off the field is amazing too. So that's very good. The second one was Benji Julien, who played for Warrington, and now for the Catalan Dragons. And the third one was Laurent Biville from Limoux, who played for the Brisbane Tigers just before COVID, and unfortunately she have to come back because of the COVID pandemic. And
I remember she ended up playing for the Warriors at the Perth Nines.
The Perth, she did. And that's a shame because we don't know what she could have done if the COVID didn't hit, you know, and maybe play in NRLW.
Could have been on TV this year, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm waiting now for the next one, male or female. I'm waiting for the next French talent to come in Australia.
Laurent, coming back to this season, we mentioned earlier you're the assistant coach to Adrian Vowles of the Brisbane Tigers women's team. So how's the season been going? And how's it all going?
We start strong, and we lose a few games, and we are playing actually our last round next week against the Capras, and we still have a chance to make the finals. But the structure Adrian put in place is very good. The mood and the discipline is very good, and the girls enjoy their football, which is the main stuff. So not maybe this year, but next year or the following year, I think we will have a very strong team at the Brisbane Tigers.
Fantastic to hear. Laurent, we were just saying off camera before, you've just returned from a short stint in France. You were recently over there. Can you tell the viewers what's the state of rugby league in France at the moment? So,
I'm not going to lie to you. French rugby league is still struggling, but still alive, which is good. Maybe the World Cup. The World Cup would be hosting the World Cup would be a good thing for us. You know, if the French Federation is doing the right thing to promote the game in the nice way and in the smart way, you know what I mean? We are not football, we are not rugby union. We have to find our own niche. We cannot compete against these big sports in France.
Yeah.
But we have a great history of fighting since 1934 in France. We have been spoiled in the war, but we rise again. So that's a resilience, you know.
Very resilient.
Resilient story. So we are still here. You know what I mean? We struggle, but the club struggle because we don't have enough players, we don't have enough resource, we don't have enough financial supports. But we're still here. So that means something. You know what I mean? When something is not strong but never disappear, we can do something with that. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was the end of last year, France played England in women's as a curtain raiser and then the men's international. Really enjoyed it, and there was some really good young French players on display. I really liked the tall, rangy back rower. I think it was in Catalan system. Great player. So we've got the World Cup coming up in end of this year. So how do you think France will go at the Rugby League World Cup?
We are going to be a bit short this year again. You know, the French team is still a mix of professional player and amateurs. You know what I mean? So that's a bit complicated for a coach sometimes because they are not on the same level. But we've got great talent, young talent in France who are playing rugby league. I was at the game in Saint-Estève near Perpignan, a U15 game, and I saw some big 14, 15 years old. The only problem is, at one point, these kids stop to develop because we don't have enough coaches, we don't have enough resources, we don't have enough competition. If a kid is good when he's 15, he's going to be good until he's 18. And because he have no competition in front of him. So this kid needs to be confronted to bigger kids and struggle. No progress. And the problem is we don't struggle enough in the development of these kids, you know what I mean? And we don't have a lot of options. We've got two professional clubs, Toulouse and the Catalans. We need more clubs, we need more bodies involved in the game. But the talent are here, that's no doubt about that.
Yeah, definitely. As you watch the French rugby union team, and you can see there's a lot of talented athletes in France. We just need to get them in the right systems, and the French national team can be one of the best.
Yeah, and maybe that's what I'll try to do since I am in Australia. Maybe bring these kids here, not all of them, because that's not made for everyone to leave your family and your friends for a few years. But if we bring more here as they play, they learn the games, they will understand a bit more what it takes to become a good player and a professional player. They will understand too the passion, even if in France we are passionate about the game too much sometimes.
Yeah.
But we've got something to we're still alive. That's the main thing. We're still alive, and we will have the World Cup. We will host the World Cup too. So that's something that I'm really hopeful about the future of the game in the world, in France of course, but in the world, because I think we need to find some solution to get on the international stage. You know, we need to have a good World Cup. We need to have a World Cup where we don't know who is going to win. That's what is going to make us an international game, because that's a wonderful game.
And yeah, absolutely. So this year we've seen Toulouse make it into Super League. So we're filming here at Magic Round, and at this point in time, Toulouse have recently signed Corey Norman and Daniel Alvaro from the Dragons. So do you think Toulouse can stay in Super League?
Alvaro was at the Winner Manley with the under-18.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he was in the system. He was in the Broncos system, so
right.
I coach him in Manley. But that's they need to stay in Super. Unfortunately, they didn't have the same deal that the Catalans, that they could stay 2 years and not getting down. They need to stay. We need two teams. We need this French derby every year, and that need to grow. Toulouse is doing a really good job for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Once again, the problem is finding the player, the juniors, finding the talent, and develop them in your system and make them grow for them to become professional player and good players. You know. And if we do that, yes, the French national team will rise again.
Excellent. And my last question, Laurent. So the 2025 Rugby League World Cup has been awarded to France. What are your thoughts on that, and do you think it will see a resurgence in participation numbers throughout France in the coming years?
Yeah, as I said to you, the French Federation got a chance here, got a big opportunity to put this game of ours on the big scales in France, you know, because now sports in France is soccer and football, you know, mainly. So we need to be smart about that. We, as I said to you, we cannot compete. We cannot be on the same stage than rugby union, but we have to find our niche. Maybe new communities, you know, could play this game in France. You know, people who don't play rugby union. Maybe they could play rugby league. You know, because sometimes I compare rugby league to boxing.
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
You don't do box for fun. You don't do rugby league for fun. You know what I mean? You can play with your friend soccer, but rugby league, you need to be ready in the mind and in the body.
Yeah.
So we are more than 65 million in France. So don't tell me that we have people who don't like to fight and stuff like that. You know. So yeah, we need to. What I dream of, I say that to my friends sometimes. I say all the actors of French rugby league, the professional, the amateur, need to sit down and have a big look at themselves and make peace sometime, because politics and in France are over the roof. Make peace and say what we want. If we are here today, is because we love the same thing, and that's the game of rugby league. So let's put our ego aside and let's try to make something happen for our game. Because if France one day rise again and is a big contender in the World Cup, that's going to be good for Australia. You know what I mean? Australia is on its own at the moment, on the other side of the world with the amazing NRL and all the competition. But we need France against Australia. We need England against France. We need big nation playing this game to bring everyone to the game.
Well, as a fan of international rugby league, you obviously see Australia play New Zealand quite regularly. I'd love to see England and France play regularly, and obviously if Toulouse and Catalan stay in Super League, there's more full-time professional French players, making the French team stronger. We've seen Jérôme Guisset come to the NRL. We've seen Remy Castille come to the NRL. I'd love to see more French players come over and try their hand over here. And Yeah, a strong French national team is going to be amazing for the sport of rugby league, in my opinion.
Yeah, so we had Eric Anselme too from Toulouse, and the first Frenchman was Jacques Molinaire, who played for the 13 Catalans in the 90s.
Right.
And he's from Pamiers, I think. He was the first French player to play for Penrith in '86, I think. So.
Wow.
We need more. That's what I say to you. We need more.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's my purpose in this world. I want to see a French player hit the grail here and play in NRL, because I know if once he's doing it, all the ones back there will say, "Oh, that's possible." So the Australians are not superhumans. No, they just work hard and they got a big passion for the game and they work hard. So
yeah,
we need one, Phil. We need just one.
Well, I hope it comes sooner rather than later. So Laurent, it's an absolute honour and privilege to have you on the show. You're our first French guest. Thank you so much for your time. All the best.
Santé.
Cheers.